Let's face it, if you're going to backtest a particular strategy, there's two key things that you've got to overcome. Number one, you've got to have a strategy that you can backtest. And number two, let's face it, backtesting is not the most exciting thing to do. You've got to spend time outside of market hours. You've got to spend time in probably what is an already a busy schedule to actually go through and test a particular strategy. And here's a reason I believe why so many traders avoid backtesting or stall backtesting, apart from the fact that it isn't the most exciting thing to do, is if that strategy is unproven, it's a strategy that you think may work or an idea that you've had, you've got to go through the rigmarole of backtesting that, the pain and the boredom of going through that, scrolling through charts, finding the setups, knowing that at the end of it, that strategy might not deliver on the particular expectation that you've got, the amount of money that you want to be making, the return that you want over any given period of time. So I think this is why a lot of traders struggle with backtesting, or what they end up doing is they will use an automated backtesting system. Now, if you're going to automate and backtest something automatically, what you miss is you miss a critical part of the process. And this is why I believe, and I've beaten the drum about backtesting any strategy, even a strategy that you get from somebody else, is because when you backtest a strategy, you are living and breathing that particular strategy, and you are seeing the setups happen as they have happened in the past over and over again. If you just punch in a mechanical strategy into a backtesting system, and then it gives you an output at the end, X number of trades, certain win loss, certain risk to reward. You've not lived what I call the distribution of that strategy. You've not lived the ups and downs. Because if you go online now, you can go online, and if you search hard enough, you will find anyone saying that they have a strategy that has a win loss ratio of 90%. Or they have a strategy that has had nothing but winning months for the last 5 months. Well, I can take some of the strategies that I've been trading with my guys since 2013, and I can show you a period of that strategy where it's won 95% of the time. But I can also show you a period, maybe over a 2 or 3 month period, where that strategy has done nothing during that period. It's had winners and losers, but it's not been profitable. So any strategy, regardless of where it comes from, will have periods where it is performing well, and it'll have periods where it's underperforming or it's flat. And as the trader, if you go through the process of backtesting, you experience those ups and downs during that. Now, if you've gone away and said, right, I'm going to backtest a particular swing strategy over a 5-year period on 3 markets, and you accumulate that data, it might take you 2 months to accumulate that data. So you have got to experience in a smaller period of time those ups and downs. Now, yes, you haven't had the experience of maybe waiting 2 weeks in between trades, or having 2 or 3 trades come at once and then nothing happening for the remaining part of the month. You can only get that experience by living that strategy real time. But what you have done is you have experienced the highs and lows of that strategy. You've seen the distribution. So when you process the data at the end of it and you look at how profitable that strategy is, what's the win-loss ratio, what's the trade expectancy, what's the biggest drawdown period, what is the best performing period. Yes, that's what I call the end game stats. But what you've done by backtesting is you've experienced the nuances of 2 months of where the trader's had winner, loser, and then you've experienced the 3 months where it's had nothing but winners, and it's had that 95% win-loss ratio for that period of time. So what it allows you to do is have an ownership over that strategy that you wouldn't get if you simply saw the end results and said, right, that's the strategy that I'm going to trade. And the reason I say that is because I've worked with hundreds of people over the last 18 years. And what I see is traders with perfectly good strategies that they can't stick to. And part of the reason is they don't have an ownership over that strategy, because they've picked that strategy because it's the best performing strategy that they've seen, or the end game results look preferable. But what they haven't done is they haven't actually seen the intricacies of what it takes and what price they're going to have to pay to be able to deliver on those numbers. So the key thing here is, if you are willing to put the time in to test a strategy and actually understand the distribution of the trades and the ins and outs of it, you're going to have a better ownership over that strategy, and you're far more likely to stick to it when it has its quiet periods or its drawdown periods. The amount of traders that give up on a strategy 2 or 3 trades before that strategy kicks back up the other way, and then they suddenly realize they dipped out during the profitable period, they jump back in, and then they jump back in right at the point that it's having another drawdown period, is because they've got no ownership of it. They've got no understanding of that distribution. Now, one of the things that I hear all the time is people saying, well, there's no point back testing because the market's going to be different going forward into the next year or the next month. And the distribution of those trades that you keep talking about, Ali, is going to be different anyway. So me back testing the last 3 months or the last 3 years is not going to be a reflection on what happens going forward in the next 3 months or the next 3 years. Well, my argument is the markets are different and always the same, and the markets are the same and always different. So there is a flow and a rhythm to it that even though the distribution may be different going forward, having an understanding of what the distribution has been previously means you are in a better place than if you just take a strategy naively and think, oh, this was profitable for the last 3 years, that's what I'm going to trade. Because any strategy that has been profitable in the past will have a distribution of how that profit has been accumulated, and that awareness gives you a greater awareness going forward. So as long as you listen to this and think, just because I've back tested the last 3 months, the next 3 months are going to be the same. If you do that, then that puts you at risk. So you're not looking at your back testing and relying on it. You're leaning on it to have an understanding of how that strategy could distribute its trades relevant to that market condition. So you don't want to be in one camp where you think backtesting is the solution to your trading success, and you don't want to be in the other camp that thinks, well, if I just dismiss backtesting because the results will be different going forward. And I'll leave you with this. Every successful trader that I have worked with has done some form of testing, whether it's a strategy that they've taken from me and they've run with themselves, or it's a strategy that they brought to the table and they've come in and said, this is a strategy that on paper works, but I can't make it work myself. There will be some element of testing that they've done. And that is 100% of the time. There is not a single trader that I have worked with that has been successful that hasn't done some form of back testing and some form of data analysis in terms of what they do to be able to get the success that they've got. So as I said at the start of the video, backtesting for a lot of traders is something they know that they should be doing, but they don't know how to do it. And this is something I've spent years refining and helping traders do. And there is a specific process to go through that not only makes that process less painful, but then you can actually do something with the data that you get at the end of it. And this is something I spend a lot of time on with my community members. So if that interests you and you'd like to learn more about how to backtest effectively, just click on the link below to find out more.